Namaste everyone and welcome to our continuous study of Patanjali YogSutra. As stated, we are going to do the third chapter and we did up to the verse number 40 last time. This is the Vibhuti Yoga with special abilities that the yogi gets. And we are going through that. So it is important to know what are the things which can come to such great masters. And the verse number 41, as today's verse, says, Saman Jayat Jwalanam. Samat Jayat Jwalanam. Only three words. So Jwalanam means brightness. Brightness. Jyoti. It comes from Jyoti. So brightness. Saman is one of the Pancha Vayus. No? So the physiology as explained in our scriptures and Ayurveda is that Pancha Prana. Pancha Prana, they are that is what conducts our life. So that is Pran, Apan, Saman, Udan, Vyan. There are five of them. In allopathy, we understand circulatory system, respiratory system, neurology, and so forth. So Saman is one of the life element of prana is only one, but these are different functions, so they are given different names. So Saman is that Vayu or that entity or force that digests our food. So it is related to digestion of the food. Digestion and the temperature that we maintain is because of the fire within. So that is a Saman. It's this stays between the heart and the navel. So these Vayu or these force functions by staying there, and it assimilates, digests, and gets the essence from the food, and that's how the food is dissipated. The essence is dissipated all throughout the body. So that's Saman. So Saman Jayat. Jayat means victory over something. Jay means victory. Jayat means something which is attained with the victory. So focusing on Saman, yogi gets victory or the control of this Saman prana or Saman Vayu, and as a result, the yogi gets the glow around the face. Jyoti is brilliance or brightness. So that brightness for great yogis appear. We have seen that those pictures and of the great masters, especially prophets, that they have a special aura or a halo around them, like Lord Buddha, Lord Mahavir, there's a Guru Nanak, there's the great masters, Jesus. All they get a brilliance around them, and that is the result of their ability to do the dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. These three together is called saman. So these three together, they can have these mastery over this, and that gives them the glow around the face. So that is one of the siddhis they get. So they have a brilliance around. But this is for great masters, prophets, great yogis who have done for a lifetime. Others, we don't see that, but sometimes they appear more brilliant, and yellowish tint on the face for the people who are very disciplined and living yogic life and are immersed in the yoga. They get that yellowish glow around their face also. So that is the first vibhuti for today. The second one is of verse number 42. That vibhuti is related to our hearing. So the verse reads, Srutra Akasayo Sambandha Sanyama Divyam Srotam. So so there are 6 words here. Srutra means ears. Our ears. Then Akash means the space around it, or ether, where there is air and space. We are essentially dropped in the space. If we move to one room to other, the space is not disturbed at all. So we come in the space. So that space, that ether, which is essential for the sounds, so that focus on akasha or ether with the air and our equipment ears, by finding out their connection or a link and meditating on that, yogi gets a special divine abilities to hear the things which normal people don't have. So they can hear very distinctly the things which are spoken far away distance. They can hear and they can be aware about this. So that is Sruta Akasayo Sambandha Sanyamat Divyam. Means they get a divine power, divine capacity to listen. And Srotam, so that is hearing. Means hearing is supernatural. So sometimes, there's if you read about big yogis, they would know what their disciples are talking miles away. So they are in communication in a very special way. They can hear and they can be aware about it. But this kind of siddhi is not to be used, and the real yogis never use it for their personal gain or for a gossip purpose or spying on somebody or those kind of things. So but they have the divine power. So sometimes the great gurus which live in the Himalayas and have spent whole life in the meditating, so they have these powers. So the third vibhuti is uh, is is the ability to become very light. So the sutra says, Kaya Akashayo. Kaya means body, Akashayo means space.
Well played, well played.
Yes. Sambandha means the relation between the body and the space. Sanyamat means focusing and concentrating by dharana, dhyana, samadhi. One becomes laghu tula. Laghu means very light. It's called like a cotton. Laghu means a puff of cotton. Laghu tula means that puff of cotton which is very light. And by that they can have akash gamanam. So there are 10 words here. So by concentrating on the body and the space around it, with the sanyama, yogi gets this superhuman ability to become very light, like a cotton. So like a little cotton, not even the whole thing, the little thread of cotton, so that they become so light that they can float and they can fly and they can go from one place to other. Means they attain this siddhi, that by that they can essentially float on they can walk on the water, they can walk on the fire, they can fly, essentially fly and go from one place to other. So this superhuman power they get, that is possible because of the life of discipline and concentration on the body and the space in which the body is, that they get it. Great masters like Shankaracharya and other people, or if you take the example of Bhagwan Hanumanji, Hanumanji had all these abilities. So like Shankaracharya lived up to the age of 33, on a very young age. And in that age, he traveled all throughout India several times and established these institutes, matha, in all the four directions. Imagine that time there was no locomotive, no cars, nothing. Only thing was the cart and the bell, and the ox and the cart. It was very primitive. So with that, how he must have traveled from south to north so many times and establish these things. So such yogis, they fly, they can appear at multiple places also. Great masters have that. And if you read about the yogis, you will find that, like in the life of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, you find these lot of miracles in his life. Even when he was very young, his name was Ghanshyam, and his brothers and family saw him at two places at one time. They say he was in that satsang in such a such village. The other guy says, no, I saw him yesterday evening, so that he was here. So from very early age, so they have this power. So the people who are gifted or who work for that, so they can appear at multiple places. They can essentially go anywhere they want at will. So that is the to become very light. The ability to become very light happens to them. So like I said, these great masters had, and a lot of yogis have this rare, powerful capability. So the next one is the ability of a yogi to take his consciousness out of body. So this sutra reads, Bahira akalpita vritti mahavideha tata prakasa avrana kshaya. So what it means that they can take their consciousness out of the body. So out of body consciousness. Now many times we read about these experiences, especially near death. A lot of patients have that experience, and then they have written and they have described. But the yogis can do it at their will, because they have control over their mind, and which is a part of consciousness. Our consciousness stays within us and within our body. It is attached. Yogi can detach that and can go in somebody else's consciousness or somewhere else. That is possible because our consciousness, which is mind or consciousness, is confined in the body. So we are locked up consciousness. There is consciousness everywhere in the universe, but we are locked up consciousness. And we are locked within the boundaries of our skin boundaries. So I am within this body. And this consciousness is confined, can be made free by yogic processes. And it is confined because of a very thin layer. The consciousness is confined within us because of a thin layer. What is that layer? Thin layer of avidya or ignorance. The ignorance that I am this body, that ignorance, as long as it lasts, we are confined consciousness. Yogi has transcended that feeling and has separated body, mind, intellect, and Atman. All four he has. He has capacity and he has a practice of doing it, and over the years he can dissociate his consciousness from and there is no avidya or ignorance. The ignorance that I am this body, that arrogance, I, mine, which is a product of avidya, yogi does not have, and he understands each component very separately. So by doing that, so bahir akalpita vritti, to understand this we have to spend a lot of time on all these sutras. I did it already. I'm just going to summarize, because it is important for us to just know about these the supernatural abilities or siddhis, and it suffices us for us to know that such yogis can get it. Even the great yogis, the masters and Maharishi Patanjali advises not to get entangled with any of these siddhis and continue your journey towards Kevalya or Atman and merging with that is called Nirbij Samadhi. That is our final destination. That's where we want to reach. These are, by the way, the yogis get it. So the ability to go outside of the body and and see and feel about the consciousness everywhere. Lord Krishna also explains the same things, no? So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, in the Dhyana Yoga, in the last few verses, explains to Arjuna that he says, Yo mam pasyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pasyati, tasya aham na pranashyami, sacha me na pranashyati. The one who sees, yo mam pasyati sarvatra, one who sees me everywhere, and sarvam cha mai pasyati, and everything he sees within the Lord. To him, he is not forgotten or lost to me, and I'm never away or forgotten by him. So consciousness, that consciousness has become the divine consciousness of a yogi. So when that happens, the yogi can merge with the cosmic consciousness and he is no more a locked consciousness. So yogi can feel the pain and miseries of others. So the Lord ends that verse which says, Atmupanye sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham vadi vadukham sa yogi parmomada. He explains Lord to Arjuna about the consciousness and he says, one who feels whatever happens to him, somebody else gets a heart attack and he feels the pain and discomfort and the misery of such event as if it is happening to him. That is called Atmopanye Sarvatra. Samam Pashyati Arjuna. Sukham Vadi Vadukham Sayogi Parmomata. That kind of yogi is the highest yogi. God says that. And God says that I want you to be a yogi. That's why he told Arjuna repeatedly that Tasmat yogi bhava Arjuna. Be yogi. He didn't say be a warrior Arjuna or be an emperor of India or anything. No. He says yogi bhava Arjuna. So because that is the highest that a human being can do and work for it. So that is and once that happens, the whole universe appears to be only consciousness, Chaitanya, everywhere. So that's why these masters can do impossible things in the world. The next vibhuti we can yogi can have that is he can separate out the different elements. We are all made up of Panchamabuddha. So the constitution of any object in the world is made up of 5 things. No? So Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kham. These 5 things, the earth, ether, water, fire, and wind. These 5 things in different combinations and different modifications, we see it in the universe. Inert and living both. So everything is made up of this Panchamabuddha. And yogi with his meditating power meditates very intensely on this thing and can separate out all 5 and every element of each one. So that's what this verse says. Sthula means gross body, like a hand. Gross body, sthula. Swarupa means my figure. Sukshma means subtle, like my mind, intellect, we can't see it. So sthula, my sthula, swarupa, Sukshma means very subtle. Anvayatvam means their relation. Arthatva means their purpose. Sanyamat means meditating on that. Bhuta Jaya means yogi can get mastery over 5 basic elements. Gross as well as subtle. When we say mind or chaitanya or my intellect, they all are material. They are material, but it's a very subtle material. Except Atma, everything is material or anatman. And that anatman is jad. We have to know this for 100% surety that that Atman is Chaitanya or our understanding or consciousness by which we know. Everything else, my hand, my mind, my intellect, my figure, all this is made up of Panchmabhuta, either gross or subtle. And they have no life on its own. The life they get is because of Atman. So Atman and Anatman. Whole journey is to separate out Anatman from Atman. And whole Prakriti is nothing else but Anatman. It's a power of God, but Prakriti is a power of God which undergoes modifications and has a characteristic of ever changing, that is Prakriti. Atman is one and never changing, eternal, never changing. And Prakriti is ever changing and labile kinetic energy of God. Both are powers of God. Understanding this very distinctly is the whole yogic process. And the one who understands has separated his consciousness from his body, from surrounding, from everything else in the world. So for him, everything is a film. It is like a cinema going on. So he has dissociated from his body, even his mind, intellect, and his surrounding and everything else in the world. So that is called Prakriti, and we are called Purusha. Prakriti, Purusha. Prakritim, Purusham, God says that. Prakritim Purusham Cheva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunascheva Vidhi Prakritir Sambhavan. When God explains, as it is a Kshetragna Yoga, he says that Arjuna, you are soul. Whatever else you see is Prakriti. Prakritim Purusham Eva, these both. Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi, both are know them to be beginningless, means ever existing. Vikaranscha gunascha eva vidhi prakritir sambhavan. Whatever the modifications happen, that is happening in the Prakriti, not in the Purusha or the one receiver. Example, I was a child running on the playground and I was an adult and now an old man. No, all these things are related to Prakriti. But I feel that, I know that, I experience that, all these phases, that is Atman. So God wants us to clearly know that. One who knows that does not regret for anything and rejoices the beauty and bliss of Atman. And that is, once that happens, that means that you are with Atman, you are self-realized, you have consciousness that you have understood, and essentially deathless, birthless entity. Everything else, he can separate it out and know for sure that this is Prakriti making all the different souls. So that is once you do this, you have Bhuta Jaya, means victory over Panchama Bhuta. So Panchmahabhuta as well as our senses, our tanmatras. Tanmatras means ras, rupa, swada, gandha, sparsha. All these five tanmatras are even more subtle. Our senses work because of this tanmatra. If there is no sound, these ears are useless. No? So if there is no smell, then they cannot function. So that those organs as well as those subtle tanmatras, they are very, very subtle. The most subtle one is the sound, most subtle is the sound. So once the yogi goes over there, see, the yogi knows all these things. So the next one is mastery over Panchmahabhuta. That we saw. There's a tato. Once you get mastery over these basic elements, all sutras are connected. So it starts with tato means attaining that ability. Tato anima adi pradurvhava. You get this siddhi, which is called anima, to become very small. There are 8 siddhis. So anima means to be able to become very small, or mahima become very big, garima is very, very heavy or very light. Laguma means very light, garima means heavy. At will, yogi can sit from one to other. One Hanumanji had this siddhi, so that's why it's called Asta Siddhi. There are 8 kinds of siddhi. That's why in Hanuman Chalisa it comes Asta Siddhi Navnidhi Ke Tata Asbaradan Janaki Mata. He got that boon from Sitaji. So those 8 siddhis, yogis with effort and meditation and lifelong, they can attain those siddhis. So that is what that verse says. Tato anima adi pradurbhava kaya sampadat dharman anabhigata, means essentially the translation is that because of this mastery over the basic elements, yogi gets various powers like anima, adi means so forth. No? So that is that vibhuti. When the yogi has disciplined life, there are multiple steps that Mercy Patanjali recommends. It is not only you go to some samadhi or meditation right away. So there are steps: yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Because they have done and mastered each step very intensely, they have this power over the years. So yogi's body becomes very powerful, very effective. So that's what Sutra number 47 says. Rupa Lavanya Bala. Rupa means Rupa means my figure, features. Rupa Lavanya means beauty. Rupa Lavanya Bala means strength. Rupa Lavanya Bala Vajra Samanvatvat means becomes like a Vajra, means where stronger than steel. So Vajra was a weapon made out of bones of Rishi Dadichi. So if you want to say something which is very solid, far exceeding steel, we say Vajra like. And so Vajra is like body becomes the Kaya Sampata. So means the body is now gifted with beauty, power, and strength like Vajra to who? To yogi. So that is the outcome of the devotion and practice of yoga for years. And such a body, as a body is essentially indestructible. So they get that power. So next one is now those are the gross things, mastery over them. Now Mercyji explains mastery over the fine qualities. So mastery over the senses. So the verse number 48 says, Grahana Swarupa Asmita Anvayarthatvat Sanyamat Indriya Jaya. Grahana means grasping power of senses. Grahana is grasping power of senses. Swarupa, the natural form. Asmita means sense of I, that who feel, who notice that smell? I notice that smell. So that I. So Asmita, Anvetva means relatedness, and Arthatva means purpose of these. Focusing on the senses, the capacity to grasp, the capacity to feel, who is feeling, all that five different components gives you mastery over the senses. And that is Anvayartvat Sanyamat Indriya Jaya, means victory over your senses. First the victory over the gross elements, now victory over the senses, mastery over the senses. That is another, that vibhuti number 8, that is that's. Then the next vibhuti is when complete mastery over the material as well as sensory organs is attained, means essentially you have controlled the prakriti. Means you are now the boss. You can control and you can use it the way you want. So means prakriti, instead of keeping us busy, is under the control of a yogi. Prakriti is essentially Maya. So Maya is yogi is not Maya Deen, not under Maya. He is Mayapati, means he is in control of, like Lord. Lord is a Mayapati. The same way, yogi gets closer and closer to multiple abilities like Lord has. Not all the way like that, but he is very closer because of his meditation and using the life energy for all these great achievements. So this verse says tato, means because of that, means because of control over the senses, because of control over the material energy. Tato manojvitvam. Manoj means like he becomes faster than mind. Manojvitvam. Vikarana bhava. Vikarana means without instrument. He doesn't need eyes to see. He doesn't need ears to hear. So karana means instrument. Vikarana without instrument means his consciousness can perceive. He bypasses the sense organs and tanmatra. So vikarana bhava pradhana jaya. Pradhana jaya means boss of prakriti. So this is what yogi gets as he progresses. So manojtvam is faster than mind. Whenever we want to say about the speed, we say that it is faster than sound, faster than light. Here it is faster than mind. So it's like a very godly, divine capacity. And now the prakriti, which is ever changing and powerful power of God, that is under the control of yogi. So these three qualities, manojvitva means fast like mind, vikarana bhava means not needing the organs to perceive, and pradhanajaya means controlling the prakriti. These three together is called madhu pratika or Rutambara Pragna, very high state of a yogi. Rutambara Pragna. So that is called Rutambara Pragna or Madhu. Madhu means this attainment of these three things. So Madhu Pratika means the yogi is now at the doorstep of Kevalya. We are moving to Kevalya. So that is a doorstep of Kevalya. Means you control the Prakriti, you understand the mind, you spend your whole life thinking and meditating on these great powers. So that's what happens. So that is a vibhuti. One of the vibhutis, ninth vibhuti. The 10th one, which is verse number 350, that is a Sattva Purusha Anyata Khyati Matrasya Sarva Bhava Adhisthatva Sarva Gnatrutvam. So what it says that Sattva means pure consciousness. This is not Sattva Guna. This is consciousness. Here the word Sattva means consciousness. So consciousness which is a kinetic consciousness, and Purusha means Atman, Sattva, Purusha, Anyata, difference between the two, Khyati means knowledge. Every word we have to know to understand this. To understand this, it takes long time. We all don't have that much time also to give one session for one vibhuti. And vibhutis are just byproducts, so they're not so important. Sattva Purusha Anyata Khyati Matrasya Sarva Bhav Adhisthatvam Sarva Gnatutva. He becomes all-knowing entity. He gets the knowledge about everything, and he gets the supremacy over the Prakriti. When he can differentiate, like we said, Atman and Anatman. Yogi can very distinctly separate. That's why they are happy, joyous, and nothing in the world bothers them because of that power to understand the separation and knowing that Prakriti is going to play its mischief constantly like a movie, and don't get affected, and they are only witness, and the things are passing by, and they know they are transient, they are useless, they are just happenings. So they are unconcerned about it. When that happens, it is called Visoka Viddhi. Means nothing can put such a yogi in a shoka. Means he cannot be made unhappy. He's blissful all the time. That is called Visoka Siddhi. And Swami Vivekananda, if we want to talk about yogi, the purest yogi of recent time is Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda was beyond all worldly thing. Sister Nivedita, who spent a lot of years and worked with him, describes Swamiji as the purest yogi. And she says that the Swamiji cannot be enticed by power, position, money, or beauty. He was beyond that. And when you find such a yogi, because he was a great yogi, he spent all his life, or a short life, but every day was useful. So he used it, and that's why. And he said that let me die as a pure yogi. Don't contaminate me. And so he never got entangled with any of. Otherwise, imagine everybody was crazy about him. He could get any money, any beauty, anything. But that power, where does it come from? It's godly and working for that. So that's what Swamiji said. Now, once you have that, because you are not connected, so you have a vairagya. So this very powerful asset they develop. The vairagya means no raga, that vairagya, vairagya. So that is vivek means discrimination about Atman and Anatman, and vairagya means not attached at all. These two are the greatest asset of the yogi, and once you have these two, you are done. So vivek and vairagya, that's what Maharishi Patanjali said. We learned that. Vivek vairagya bhyam tan nirodha. By these two, you can control all modifications, all thoughts coming to your mind. Vivek, Virag, one of the sutras we already did before. So, Vivek, Viragya, Bhyam, Tan, Nirodha. So this sutra number 51, that Viragya, when it comes, then he is not concerned about any of the existing things, and the seeds which produce this kind of vasanas, they are roasted. So they cannot germinate at all. And that is called Nirbija Samadhi. Means bij, the seeds from which vasanas, means desires, arise, those seeds are roasted or cooked. Bhagwan Ramakrishna said cooked chawal, no? Means that the rice which is cooked cannot proliferate again. It's the same way roasted. So that is by these you have roasted these seeds, and now you are with the Kevali. So means you are not in Prakriti, you deleted Prakriti, you understood very clearly, and you are the boss. So that beach is a, remember we did Panchkosha, it's a Klesha. Panchklesha means disturbances and nuisance. So that is avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, avinivesh. These five kleshas. These five kleshas are the troublemaker. Which are one? Avidya means ignorance. We don't know the reality. We forgot. So avidya, asmita, arrogance, I and mine. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesh, means liking for the body, attachment to the body. All five bothers us from birth to death. And yogi has mastered that. So he is beyond that. And these five kleshas produces six enemies. Six enemies, that is Sadripu. That is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsar. These six. Ratlo. Certain Swami says Ratlo, yes. So six enemies, five nuisance or disturbances in our consciousness, which are avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, avinivesh. And that brings that 6. The team of 11 causes a chaos for us in our lifetime. Understanding that there is no more chaos and you are peaceful, blissful, and next to the Kevalya. Next one, 52 was the yogi should. Okay, this is beautiful. So when you are advancing like this, you have a very special power and everybody else will notice, and you will get a lot of attractions in the world. So everybody, you will be honored, and everybody wants, the king wants that such a yogi comes to me and bless. The Pope will invite you, and you will get the awards, and Modi ji will invite you, and all those things. It says that don't get attracted by that. Your goal is Kevalya, not Modi ji's title or Pope's title you want. So yogis are very clear in their mind. So they never get entangled. So this is a very nice sutra which says Sthani you. Sthani means somebody in charge of an institution. Pope is in charge of their Christian institute, no? Like that. Sthani you. Upaniyantrane means upa means very, they will send a special messenger to invite you. There's a nimantran means invitation. Upanimantran means very, very precious. You will be given special place, and you are getting a Nobel Prize, and they will get a call, and everything is booked for you, and they send a plane for you, and so forth. So even if they do, even if the celestial beings come and entice you, don't pay attention to. That's what Sutra number 52 says. Every word you have to make a translation, understand, and meditate on that. It takes a long time, but it is then the understanding becomes clear. So in short, that's what it is. If somebody entices you, don't get entangled, because your goal is Kevalya. It's like you have an idea and you are starting a new company, and your company is very successful, and IBM wants, and it says, okay, 50 million, 100 million, how much you want? You come, you become director here, but no. Let me work on my idea, on my goal. No? And doing that is called, that is what this sutra says, that don't get another. So, because if you get entangled, so Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that even the celestial being praise you, don't get very arrogant or happy or give a smile with pride. You know? So there is one of the slokas in the Bhagavad Gita comes that people who have attained very great yogic status and go into being a celestial being, Brahma Bhuvan Lokan Punaravartino Arjuna Mam Upetya Pante Punarjanmana Vidyate. Even if you are a very great yogi, accomplished one, you become one of the celestial places you get, they will again have to take a birth when their merits get exhausted. But the one who comes to me, Punarjanmana Sambhava. Brahma Bhuvana Lokan Punaravartino Arjuna Mam Upete Konte Punarjanmana Vidyate. So that is what is called Kevalya. So the next one is, where do you get this discriminative power? So that this words number 53rd explains that this comes because that you have dissected everything in the universe. To understand any gross things, we have to know the atom and the subatomic particles. Then you understand inert material. To understand that living thing, we have to go through all these Atman, Anatman analysis. So the one who can understand Prakriti, which is constantly changing, is nothing else but the series of events. So that's what it says, 53rd one. Kshana tata krama. Kshana means instance. And this is Kshana. Kshana is just happening. Kshana tata kramayo. The sequence of that, sanyamat, focusing on that sequence, vivekajam gnanam. That will give you the discriminative power. It is like multiple pictures are taken on, and the reel is moving fast, 16 frames per second, and then it appears moving as a movie comes on the screen, because that is sequence is put very fast. So that kshana, that sequence is very fast in the Prakriti. So that one who has meditated on this unit, the physicist meditated on the small particles, microscope, electron microscope, and further electron, proton, and everything. Similarly, yogi does that on consciousness and differentiates consciousness from Prakriti. That is called Viveka. So Viveka is a product of analysis of multiple events. The time that we understand what we look here is an illusion. There is nothing like time. There is nothing like time. Time is money. No. There's bogus. No? Time is money for lawyers and doctors and other things. It only says that don't waste it. That's what those teachings are. But time is an illusion. Time is not moving. It is the Prakriti which is moving. Maybe from 3 years to 6 years, very slowly, but at all the time, there is a change happening. But that change is so subtle and one after the other that you don't notice it. So we say, oh, time will cure it. No, time is not going to cure. You will get cured on its own, because that's how the Prakriti works. And then you think it is the time cured you. So the time is an illusion. Prakriti is very dynamic, and body is changing every minute. Every minute the cells are dying and new cells are produced and so forth. So that is the nature of Prakriti. Just simple example. If you haven't seen your friend for 5 years and if you meet, you will immediately notice, oh my God, he looks older. Of course, you also look older. But 5 years time, that you can appreciate. Every day you are meeting the friends, you won't know. Both of you will get old. So that is what it says. So the focus. Next one is a 54th verse, which says, Jati Lakshana Desh Anyata Anvichedat Tulyo Tata Pratipati. So that there are 8 words that we can differentiate different objects because of their original characteristic and other features, means essential nature and non-essential nature. So jati, lakshana, desha, where they are, what jati means, we can differentiate between a cow and a goat and a cat. So that is jati difference. We can differentiate between a black cat and a white cat and a spotted cat. So those are all secondary features. So like that, we can have differentiation. But when one who can differentiate this time element gets a discriminating power to differentiate consciousness from anatman and atman, prakriti from purusha. So that is that. And like I said, prakriti is jad, means sarir, means our body, mind, intellect, they are inert. And soul is life force. It's like water and oil, they can never mix. That's why no matter how much enjoyment you do in the life, your Atman will never be satisfied, because that is not the food of Atman. That is the food of senses. So that you always remain thirsty. That is the science behind it. So the next one is Taraka Sarva Visaya Sarva Tha Visayam Akramam. That Taraka means the one which saves you, savior. Taraka, the one which saves you from the sea of ocean of events is called Taraka. Sarva Visaya, from all the attractions and distractions, that Vivek Gnan, by discrimination you will be saved. Otherwise, we become victim of Prakriti and we float around and time runs out. So, and the last one verse, which is the last verse of the Vibhuti Pad, verse number 56, it says, Sattva Purushoyo Suddhi Samye Kevalyam. Sattva means consciousness, Purusa means Atman, Suddhi means purity, and equality is Kevalyam. So, in the original form, before further differentiation happens, from pure consciousness, two elements come out. One is Atman, another one is Prakriti, or primordial Prakriti. Means that one is pure consciousness, uncontaminated consciousness is also pure like an Atman. Once we come on this planet, we get affected, means our mind is totally transparent and beautiful, so that the spirit, our soul, shines through that. That's why we love baby. 2 years, 3 years old baby is playing innocent. Why? Because mind is totally clean and there is no raga, dvesh, avinivesh. Nothing has tainted that mind, so that the consciousness diffuses out from Atman. When that is contaminated with raga, dvesha, different experiences, multiple desires, multiple traumas, and so forth, then it is getting like a dark cloth covering the mind, so that that the light of Atman is gone from you. That's why they say you do the process, and the real yogi is like a childlike, becomes childlike. So that is Kevalya, pure mind, pure mind. So that's why Sant Kabir says, we are going to do Kabir, so I will say, Kabira man malin hai, means our mind is dirty. Kabira man malin hai, dhoye na ye jaye, means this is not going to be cleaned by just simple washing. Ek jaye satnam se, means one stains you put it on that screen will go with Satnam, means Japa, God's name. Ek jaye satsang. So he gives these two detergents to clean our mind, which is contaminated, and that is only two ways. That is Satnam, means Japa or God's name, and Satsanga means company of great people with the interest in divinity. That too will clean your mind. So once the mind is clean, all your difficulties will go away. That's why another teachings of Kabir is Kabira man nirmal bhaya, जैसे गंगा नीर पीछे पीछे हरि चले, कहत कबीर कबीर. He says, clean your mind. Mind, when it is clean, God will like you, God will love to have you. He will go after you. Kabira man nirmal bhaya, जैसे गंगा नीर, very pure, पीछे पीछे हरि चले, कहत कबीर कबीर आजा. That's what it is. So that is another verse. The Kabir is a very good teaching. Maya se kaya bani. We are all victims of Maya. Okay. Maya se kaya bani. Kaya se bane bhog. Because of body, we are enjoying this. Bhogo se sabko laga janma marana ka rog. Got it? We are here because we have likes and dislike and lot of seeds in our soul which are dormant, and that we have to get rid of that before Atman becomes pure. Till then, repeated births and deaths are necessary to clean us. No. So because of the Prakriti and our experiences and our attachment on that, we have developed a raga, dvesh, and these are deep-seated sanskaras, because of which are unfinished in this life. That's why you will get another life. That's why he says, Kaya, there's Maya se Kaya bani, Kaya se bane bhog. Bhogo se sabko laga, janma maran ka rog. So if you want to come out of that, then satsang and satnam, that is what Sant Kabir says, and that is in brief. This such a great complex lecture for which we have to keep working and meditating. So if you have any question, you can ask.